What is up, music junkies? Thank you for tuning in today. We have a very special guest with us, Rizk. Man, how are you? Thank you for coming by and saying what's up.
Definitely. Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing good. Enjoying this chill day. Got some writing done. Knocked the voice lesson out, so it's been easy so far. How are y'all doing?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. It's been rainy here in San Diego, so been
It's
dealing
been
with
raining over here too.
that crap. But you know, it's
Mm.
it's another day in paradise, I guess. It's not as nice as Jamaica, though. I'm sure.
I, I argue with you on that, but the heat definitely has its drawbacks.
Yeah, and then you get a lot of humidity, right, out there.
Yeah, but it's home.
Yeah.
Always feels comfortable.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. So, first question I want to ask: how did it all get started for you in music? How did you, find out that you had the talent, and you know, how did it start?
Ooh. Um. So from I was like in diapers, I was playing with the CD player, taking CDs out, putting new ones in, dancing to the music, like before I really knew what was going on. Um, and from there, like music was just a constant, I tried playing drums, I played a little guitar, um, and then it wasn't until I went to high school. I went to a boarding school in Chattanooga, Tennessee, um, where I started singing and really composing music, producing and that kind of stuff. And I mean, it was really just a hobby up until college days, till I saw that like, this is something I could really try to do for a living. I went to college in Nashville, Tennessee, um, Music City. So
That's the
got
music
used
capital
to,
of the world right now, right? I mean,
Seriously.
yeah. So like just getting used to putting music at the forefront, rather than just a hobby. Um, and I mean, it's really been a blessing, to just have it as something that's stuck with me in some form or fashion, like since I can remember.
All right. So, what does your writing process look like for everything? Because, I saw online, I did a little bit of research and, you write and perform your own music. So, how does that process look?
Well, usually it starts with, as corny as it may sound, a feeling, right? Either a
Hmm.
feeling like a word or phrase gives me, an experience that comes to mind, or like if I'm messing with sounds, it'll just I'll just feel something and want to kind of expand on it. Um, I really enjoy writing around like a central theme rather than just like, I guess, freestyling.
Hmm.
Mm. And so when I have something that sparks that initial feeling, it's easier for me to kind of craft a story around it. Um, so that would be normally my process, I think.
do you usually start with hook, chorus first, or verses first? This is a huge debate I've seen with many artists. Like, what do you start with first?
I bet you it took.
So it usually ends up being hook, but it's not like directly, like it's not the goal necessarily, right? I write in like sections, like an 8 bar or like a 16 bar. And I kind of, if I don't feel something immediately branch from that, I'll leave it alone and write something new and then kind of use them as pieces, right?
Okay.
So there've been instances where I've tried like pre-choruses or verses as a chorus and see which kind of fit the best, So I hear that, but it usually is easier to center it around the hook. You're right.
Yeah, and I think the hook is the hardest part for me. Like I can't write hooks at all. So it's just I always usually go verses first, and then I'm like, what could be catchy with this that I'm writing?
I'm still on my hiatus, but yeah, I would always start with the hook. I just think it's easier to build it around the central idea because then you can just fill in the blanks. I'm not a
Yeah.
good lyric writer, as we've already established, but I mean,
Yeah.
Did we establish
I'm
that? I
okay.
didn't know. What
It's
kind
not.
of stuff do
I
you
think
write?
established that in the podcast because we go through this a lot because we always ask, hey, what's your writing style, and then we always talk about how I suck at hooks, and Jake's great at hooks, and it's just,
Sounds like it balances out to me.
yeah, that's true. That's true. So
Appreciate that.
I want to ask. So you know your styles are very different because you have songs where it's like extremely R&B, like you know very
Fever
R&B in
Texas.
your probably your earlier days, and now you have your more reggae pop and more Jamaican vibes. So when did you start to transition? Because I know you go a little bit back and forth, right?
Hmm. So when I first went up to Chattanooga for high school, right? Um, People would always point out my accent, and naturally being somewhat of like more of an anxious person, more of a quiet person initially, until I really get to know people, it was kind of a spectacle. So I would tone it down, so I wouldn't get like, so people would hear what I'm saying rather than how I said it.
Yeah.
And that kind of translated into the music, like I want to be able to say what I want to say, and try to speak to people and connect with people without the accent barrier like getting in the way of the medium. Um, and so I'm still trying to find that perfect balance. I'm glad for the time at home. It's helped me really bring out the Jamaican and Afro and island influence. But the goal is to bridge that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, in your way, you have both styles. You have the very, R&B singing, and then your chorus, your hook has more of that Jamaican style.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
that was like the perfect combination of both.
Exactly. Yeah. That one was a ton of fun. I had just started making that track, one morning before heading to the gym, and I get to the gym with my brother Chris. I'm like, bro, I just made this, and I need you on it. This is what it's about. I know you have something to say, and yeah, it just lined up to be Afro R&B, right in the pocket of what I'm trying to like,
Yeah.
I guess, build consistently.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you do come from a long family of, those great influencers on the Jamaican culture, right? Like, especially, wasn't your grandmother, what was that? I'm trying to remember, but she did something too, I read, really
Yeah,
important.
man. She was a big singer. I say it seems like the same gene, skipped my parents and then kind of passed down to
Hmm.
me. But, I guess growing up, a lot of my family wasn't into the arts. So it was kind of venturing by myself, I would learn more about my grandma and she would give me some tips. But other than that, it was just me and maybe my brother. Um,
But
so
still, I think those would also be some big influences on you too, because I mean, with that kind of a background, that's real interesting. Um, I couldn't really find anything on her. If I maybe I didn't look hard enough, but I was intrigued. I was like, that is kind of cool. I mean,
she she was very much by the book, perfect form, like warm up, cool down, all of this stuff, like in charge of teaching people as well. And so me, who music was a feeling for, music was like a place to come back to, a place of inspiration. It was, I always had difficulty like sticking by the book, and like she definitely taught me the value in that,
But I
in my
mean
opinion.
that also has to do with I guess the time frame, right? You know, back in the day, you people were taught singing and they were taught like the right way. Do you do everything this way, like a very kind of linear way? And now
mhm.
with
Hmm.
the new younger people, younger crowd, it's like you said, it's a feeling. You know, it's like you're trying to express yourself in a certain way, and so nothing's very linear uh, or lineal about it. So I guess that makes sense, a lot of sense.
Yeah, I needed that kind of structure first.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that structure is good, and then after you learn it by the book, that's when you can start bending the rules and kind of going off on your own.
And that's really what she was trying to teach me. And young and naive,
yeah.
I'm trying to do what I want now out the gate. So that, her, and then Obviously, when I went to the boarding school, I took some choir classes for the first time and got taught to
Hmm.
perform. It was proven to me why I need to make sure I know what I'm doing first before I kind of just take the reins.
How was boarding school? How was like I've only seen like stuff in movies and stuff, but how is boarding school really?
All right. So it was, for me, it was a blast, right? It was a Christian all boys boarding school. And I know that doesn't sound appealing to everybody, but you got to think about it this, it's like camp, but like a semester, right? It's, you go to classes and you have some friends in classes, and then you go back to your dorm, and it's pretty much a sleepover with the dogs for a semester.
Yeah. I guess so.
And just looking at it through that lens, it was like an adventure, like um
Yeah, there was no. Oh,
class.
women.
Yeah, part of it is like I didn't feel stupid like raising my hand in class if I didn't understand something. There was no pressure there, just socially, because it was the dogs.
Yeah.
You Everyone had their sport they had to go to, or their club, or their thing, and it was there wasn't much like division or drama. You know what I mean? It was really just a good time, and you had your brothers who were your brothers, and then everybody else kind of just respected those groups, and it was a good time. It was a really good time, and there's where I met two of my like brothers for life. That
Your ride dogs.
yeah, exactly. Chris and I'm sure you've seen them somewhere on my page. We're in a group called Soundproof, or we're in a group called Soundproof. That started in high school,
Okay.
and
So is boarding school all
college.
through high school?
It was I went halfway through my sophomore year, so 2.5 years up there.
And then regular
Um,
public school?
Okay.
Before that, I was at home in Jamaica, going to private high school.
Oh, okay. So it's always been private.
hmm
Okay.
I was like, yeah,
Yeah, you're very lucky. Public school is no
Yeah,
fun.
public school is.
But so who are your influences? Like who did you grow up? I know,
Sean Paul,
yeah.
Drake, The Weeknd.
definitely Sean Paul, right? Some
I got
Shaggy.
that.
I would say Damian Marley.
Hmm.
Um, um, Drake, I guess, would be definitely a more recent one. But growing up, I listened to like a lot of like Fall Out Boy. Um,
Mm,
I was really into like Avenged Sevenfold and System of a Down. Um,
nice.
but like having like, because I used to play a bunch of the WWE games as well, and those
Okay.
soundtracks were just full of rock bangers, right? So that kind of influence, I think, comes out in some of my writing style. I listen back and like, I think the way I piece together some melodies can be attributed to that. Um, and that's, I guess, that would be my earliest like set of influences, and then of course, they kind of gravitate more mainstream as I've grown. Like, Rihanna,
Mm,
my queen,
Your
right?
queen.
She can, right? She can flip on her accent whenever she wants to, and nobody can tell her otherwise. And it works
Yeah.
in both markets, in either direction. And that level of like, I guess, freedom creatively is the goal.
mm.
It's funny. You talked about how you heard a lot of soundtracks in video games. So the first like ever metal band that I listened to was Bullet for My Valentine because
Yeah.
their song Hand of Blood was I don't even remember the video game, but I think it was a racing game or something. Need for Speed or something. That's how I heard most of my music. I was like, oh, I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna look this up, and that's how I heard a lot of my music, video games.
Same way.
That started all the way back in the Road Rash days when I was playing that on the, what was it? Jeez, this is a trip back into
What
the
the hell is
90s.
Road Rash?
Oh, dude, it's like a motorcycle game, super fun. It's all like low graphic because it's so old, but they played a lot of really awesome rock and metal songs on there, man. And so that was a good amount of my influence too. So this is just nostalgic to talk about. I'm sorry.
I think the Tony Hawk Pro Skater game for like PlayStation One,
Yes.
bangers, just bangers
Hell yeah,
all over
everything.
the track.
Or well, the Tony Hawk's Underground. There's a
Mhm.
shit ton of good music on that as well. And then supposedly they were gonna release a new Tony Hawk's, but that's another story. But I don't know if
That's
they
a
ever
story.
did.
But
So
yeah,
who I want to ask, who would your like ideal collaboration be with? Like who would
That is
you
a good question.
besides Rihanna? Because I know you would you would kill to work with Rihanna.
Do more work with her. I would.
I might accidentally propose to her if I work with her. So that's yeah. But um, I really want to work with. I'm gonna call him Six Lack. I know his name is Black, but
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
all intents and purposes, I would love to work with Six Lack. I love the simplicity of some of his melodies, but also how intentional and how hard they kind of hit in certain sections. And
Hmm.
it's just over these like variety of tracks and variety of fields. It's really really cool. I think that's somebody I definitely want to work with. Hopefully, soon.
Yeah, hopefully it works out. Hey, if you're listening, I mean, Rizk wants to work with you.
There you go. I mean, he's got like on Spotify, what is it, like over 7,000 monthly listeners? No?
I think so. I'll check.
Yeah, okay. And
Who are you
then
talking? Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about not you, Mario, but Rizit.
Yeah, he has 7,000 monthly listeners.
Yeah, and then
So
that closer. Is it closer or closer?
Closer.
closer.
Closer. Okay, yeah, that one has like the most streams on there, and that one's doing really, really freaking well. So, we want to share a little bit like with what was going on when you wrote that.
Closer is so I was just not feeling great one day,
Okay.
and I had a track I was just trying to write to. A good friend of mine had sent it to me and just thought of me when they heard it. And as gross as I felt, I was like, all right, this track needs energy. This track needs something that gets people to sink into the dancing and that's simple and that they can sing along and like that they're really feeling. And
Mhm.
this was right before um, March when I flew down because of Corona. This was
Okay.
like at the top of last year. I'm like, okay. And I tried to be clean in at least most of my writing. Everything I have out right now is clean. Um, and so I was just thinking about the simple ways that you show somebody you're interested or you want them or you want to make that next step. And it's proximity, it's physical closeness. And that was really where that came from. It's just sneakily closer, closer. No, I don't even know you. The look in your eyes just a call me over. So make we get a little closer. Like basic, like, hey, like I see you looking at me, like why not? Why do we stop the game and like
Yeah.
just go to the game,
Mhm.
But the music video isn't like that, right?
So because of the way Corona played out,
Yeah.
we did it's less of like a full music video and more of like that little promo skit we did.
Yeah.
Mm.
Um had to promote COVID safety with the masks and the hand sanitizer and whatnot.
And then she
And the six
sprays
feet
you all
apart.
over.
Hey, COVID safety, it's a priority.
Yeah, yeah. If you're listening, don't get too
I mean, so
close right now.
closer, like emotionally, like mentally, like
Yeah,
physically.
yeah,
But for now, take it easy.
Yeah. So, I did notice we were talking about how you go from, kind of the more R&B to the reggae pop. I did notice that your more reggae pop has the most streams. that's like what people vibe with more, like the
Hmm.
dancier, more popish stuff. How do you feel about that?
Um, Honestly, because I've spent like, or I spent a couple years towards the end of high school, like trying not to downplay that side of me so much. It's really, I'm really grateful that like it's so well received. It means that like I can pour into this with all of me,
Yeah.
um, rather than kind of trying to fit into either mold. So I'm just grateful. I'm excited to keep trying it and seeing what other ways I can mix the two.
Yeah, and I know you could see like where your streams are usually, like your highest streamers. Where are they?
It's like Germany and Spain and like Denmark, Norway's up there, some Mexico, like so. I mean, I had no idea it would shoot up there first. Like that would
Yeah.
be the prime spot. But hey, I'm always down for a trip.
That is super sweet. That's awesome.
You know who I would picture you doing a collab with is someone like Bad Bunny or Maluma, some reggaeton, reggaeton y palahoni. That's what you need to
I
do.
I would love
Go
to.
hit up Daddy Yankee.
I don't know about that. I don't know. That's old school, dude. That's old school as shit.
Hey, you can bring old school back. That's what they've been doing. Look at Fleetwood Mac, man.
Yeah, TikTok is
Yeah,
the most
TikTok is great.
powerful thing right now. That just reignited that song beyond what they could have imagined for right now.
Hey, there's certain ways you could, promote your music. You should collab with like a super famous TikToker, and have them do a dance to your song.
Dude.
Hey, that's the way.
I got how to go about like
Fiverr.
honestly, because I've seen a bunch of like I've been looking into it, right? I've seen like a couple YouTube videos about like use like just marketing tools on TikTok, and that's one of them is just getting it into circulation.
Yeah.
Now,
Just
speaking of
you just need
marketing,
one
how do you
person.
personally feel about outsourcing for your music?
Sorry,
So, speaking of
can you
marketing,
repeat?
how do you feel about outsourcing for your music?
In terms of like production? Or
Yes.
well, I guess I prefer to write most, if not all of like what I end up singing.
Hmm.
I'm open to lyrical collabs, but um, I think I'm more harsh on or more specific on those than I am production collabs. I'm more than willing to like collab on production or just straight up take a beat. Closer was a track that I had no production on. Um,
Okay.
so I mean, as long as it speaks to me, as long as I can feel something and unravel it.
Okay, that makes sense. Awesome.
Do you play? You said you got a little into drums, a little bit in guitar. Do you play any instruments, like
So
full time?
I play guitar, more rhythm guitar than like shredding. Um, there's like I'm still getting used to like I guess singing and performing, especially different styles of music. Singing and playing, I guess. Um, I functionally play piano if I'm writing. I wouldn't, you know, accompany or play like for myself
Yeah.
yet. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
I
piano's
mean,
a
drums, I kind of gave up on the drums, honestly. I that the multi like rhythms going on at the whole like the same time, I couldn't do it. But it gave me an understanding of it that like I, would never want to lose.
Well, especially for like the music that you make, that those drums aren't easy. It's not like a
no,
just a simple hi
any
hat
kind of
and, and,
reggae.
and
Like,
snare. This is a lot of toms, a lot of like moving parts. I wouldn't be able to do anything like that.
mm,
That and jazz.
Oh,
ooh,
jazz. Yeah, no, I know where I'm not ready for. I'm not ready for jazz yet.
You
So
sure? You sure you don't want to do some jazz right now?
right now, fly.
Just
So,
go. Start it.
how long you been playing?
Playing what? Me drums?
Yeah.
Oh, I played drums recreationally, and I haven't had a drum set in 7 years, so I don't play drums at all anymore. Jake plays guitar. He
I
plays
can
every
see.
instrument. He plays every instrument.
Wow.
Pretty much. I can program drums. I can do that.
I hear you on that. How long you been playing guitar?
So guitar, let me see. I have to go way back. So I'm 28 now, just turned on the 14th of January.
Uh,
And so I started when I was 9. Didn't get serious about it until I was maybe 14.
wow.
And
Still,
then
yeah, that's a party
very
then.
long time on guitar, but I also played piano. I played the cello. I've done the drums a little bit, but I'm not real comfortable with that. Like you said, there's a lot of polyrhythms going on, different paces. It's hard to keep your mind and your body in timing with everything else. But
Same.
I like just the whole aspect of making music. I've been in a bit of a rut where I'm kind of like stuck. Mario seems to have an understanding of where that's coming from, but it's not necessarily that. It's just life's getting away from me in the long haul. So I haven't really had the time to, but when I do, oh, it's gonna be good.
I believe it. I
Yeah.
I'm
believe it.
excited. Um, but yeah, like if I don't know, it's just difficult writing something start to finish. I feel like it takes longer. You know what I mean? And then you appreciate it more because it's something that you made. You didn't have to do outsourcing for.
Mhm.
So what's the longest that you've ever spent on a song?
Probably somewhere from 6 to 7 months. Because I like be able to pour into it and pour into it, and then one or two sections I'm not sure about.
Mm,
And my problem is I listen to it on repeat, like on long drives, whenever I have free time, just to like nitpick and critique. Um, so I have to take those long breaks if nothing comes to me. Otherwise, I get demoitis, and I don't want to change it. Right.
Yeah.
So definitely some months. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's just I guess where I'm at now is deciding which songs I can pour that much into, and which
mm.
ones like you know I should tough it out and like just get done because that's what they need. That's what would be best for them.
Okay. Last question. So when do you finally realize or find out, okay, this one is finished. I can back away from it and send it out. When does that moment happen for you?
That moment happens 4 weeks before it comes out because that's when it's required to be submitted. Um, the
Right
once
on.
it's out and like there's nothing I can do about it, that's when like usually when I'm able to like just accept it. Um, I'm one of those people who I'm really proud of what I make and like I'm happy with it,
Okay.
but I always want it to be as good as it can be, like and better, which isn't always possible. So I'm still working on accepting um,
The
when
limits
to
to a
let
song.
that stuff.
Gotcha. Because I was gonna ask you, are there any songs that you've currently released that you loved at first, but when upon, time, you're just like, there's just like three things in that thing that I would change for the better? Because yeah, I've got plenty of those myself.
I mean, yeah, like this is it's minor things that like pretty much only I hear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a frequency thing or like how often like repetitive hi-hat will hit, like
Mm.
volume tweaks. It's like these minor things that I'm going to make bother me that when it boils down to it are kind of inconsequential,
Mhm.
or you know either like it's usually that's usually
All
what.
right, give us an example. What song are you thinking you would be like, oh, if I could change something, I would in a particular song?
Okay. um Off my first project, Details,
Mhm.
the song Something, Uh, that was a replacement for a song that we already had ready, um, because we just didn't think it like fit. And so we recorded something like pretty quickly within like 2 3 days of when we submitted the project. And so the quality of the vocal takes I'd sent in some areas weren't like as clean as I would have liked. That for sure takes the cake because I love that song to this day. I just wish I got to spend the time on it that like
Mm,
I would have liked to, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
definitely.
you could always redo it, remaster, remake. There's not a
Not if it's
problem.
already out there. It's got like thousands of listens already.
Yeah, but
No, I'm just kidding.
there's always people like that remake their music. Let's see, for
Yeah.
example, Black Bear released a song in like 2010 called NYLA, and then in his new album, Anonymous, he re-released it again, but he remade it, re-recorded it with his like current style, his current vocals. You know,
It
people
sounds
do it all the
sick.
time.
So I mean, it is also cool to see the evolution as the artist, throughout the entire, we'll call it a campaign, because that's essentially what it is. Your goal is from this point to this point, and however many things you can do in between that point matters. But you did say that you lived in Tennessee and you went to school there. You played shows, I'm imagining, as well. So where are some of your favorite concerts that you've actually performed at, taken place at?
So most of the shows I did, I will preface. The way we did them was I was with my group,
Mhm.
right? So because we were all in a group, but each like separate artists as well, we would kind of open and the group would headline, right? Um, and so it was just cool because we'd meet one opener per night, and then we handle the rest of the I guess set list. Um, One place we frequented was I'm trying to remember the name of the building. Well, our biggest show was at actual at Belmont's campus. We did their urban pop showcase, which about
Nice.
2,000 people came out to, um, and we went full boy band mode. Like
Dance and everything choreographed.
I'm talking all white. Yeah, we had a little like choreography like section in one of the choruses. Like just milked it, and it was amazing. It was so much fun. Um, and there was one time we played at a bar that's closed now. I'm forgetting the name, but we had opened for um, this big this R&B old school artist, and only one mic was working, and there were three of us.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Right? So three-part harmonies on one mic that were passing around, and we made it work, and it was just listen.
Uh,
It was a blast, a good time, just living in Nash, being able to like look forward to performances and
Mm.
you know
so
that
your
time of
group
year.
is soundproof, right? You said.
Yeah,
Okay. So I mean,
yeah.
Nashville is music capital for sure.
Seriously.
But I heard this is just rumors that I've heard is Austin is becoming the new music capital. I don't know if
Maybe
it's
for
true.
country.
I don't know if it's true. Well, look,
I've heard some buzz.
Nashville has a lot of country. Nashville is a lot of country. It's very country, but it also has rock vibes. Is you know, it has a little bit of everything,
But
but
if you
it's
listen to country in the music itself, there's a lot of rock influence as well, but also a lot of swing. Um, I think it's just like a southern kind of twang that they dash on it and make it sound good. I mean, their music's beautiful, don't get me wrong, but I ain't gonna be blasting that. I don't want to be all up in my fields rolling to work.
Anyways, so what are you currently working on?
Ooh. I'm lining up a bunch of singles just so I can consistently be dropping stuff throughout this year. Uh, Friday, I dropped one of my mashups, if you were texting, on Spotify. Um, and then I'm working on a remix right now of this song called Goody Goody, right?
Goody, goody.
This Jamaican artist named Scantana. pretty much wrote this song where he's talking about some of his celebrity crushes and how just like amazing they are. They're just these beautiful, wonderful women, and he's just rhyming a bunch of famous names. And so I heard that, and I'm like, this is gonna be such a vibe. I think people are really gonna dig this. Came with my verse, and we're filming the music video in the next couple weeks, and hoping to drop that around mid to late February.
You mentioned someone else besides Rihanna, right? Like you mix it up a little bit, right? Just...
Of course, definitely. I had to shout out Kehlani. She's killing.
Oh yeah.
Like that's just she's a goat. She's an upcoming goat, you know.
Oh, she's crazy. Like, her music, her verses
Riley Yana is too. She's freaking pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm. Janae Aiko, had to shout her out too, and then a couple other like Jamaican household names, you know. So it's really gonna be cool. Other than that, just lining up singles, ideally, you know, one a month at the least. So we'll see.
All right, awesome.
All
So just want to let you know that All Over was my favorite song. I love
I'm
it.
so glad.
I love it.
Oh, I really liked Your Way, but Fever Texting was pretty catchy. That mashup. I think that was the first thing I said earlier. Fever Texting.
Yeah, Fever Texting was a that was a vibe. That was the first time I got to put together like a mashup like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the video just like paired well with it, and I'm really glad it's on Spotify. Y'all go check it out. But All Over it was about a friend's breakup, right? He told me about it, and I was just like, yo, I feel the sad boy feels. I have to write this down, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm sure you can hear some of like the pop boy bandy influence in the writing. But I love being able to do that. I don't think I want to lose that side of me, no matter how much of the Jamaican I get to bring out.
Yeah, it's very R&B. It has that very R&B like feel, and I'm R&B. I love R&B so much. So that's why I kind of like related it, and I was like jamming it a little bit. I love, of course, all your music's badass. Your Way, like he said, it was
Super talented.
Makes me want to dance. And then Closer.
Thank you so much.
Specialty.
Yeah, the vibe.
The vibe, bro. So, you know, that's all I have. What I do want to give you a chance is to like kind of tell people a little bit about you, and you know, hopefully you get some new listeners. You know, let them know what you're all about, and if you want to tell any of your fans anything, you know, this is your chance.
Yeah, I mean, what's up, everybody? It was an honor to be on this. Follow me at Rizk Music. As you heard, I'm working on blending pop R&B with island and Afro influence. For the most part, self-produced, but willing to work, you know. I'm a gamer, as you've seen and heard. Working on starting up a Twitch channel soon, so I will be posting about that. But other than that, yeah, I mean, just excited to see where the writing takes me and what kind of what the rest of the bridge looks like, you know, as I'm trying to build it and be a part of that. So if you're interested in being a part of that journey and kind of feeling out that whole process with me, come along, you know. Happy to have you.
Awesome. Well, again, I appreciate your time. Appreciate you coming on. Rizk, listen to him on Spotify, all social networking platforms. You know, it was a great time.
All right, everybody, that was Rizk. And again, he was an absolute pleasure to have on the show. If you haven't, go check out his music. Again, all of his songs are kind of written around the context of, you know, love and relationships. So, you know, it's pretty good. He's really, really talented, and I think he's got he's gonna go far.
Yeah, he's a great. So this is the way I explained him to, you know, people that I know. I was like, hey, listen to my next guest. He's like a English reggaeton artist. because if you listen to a lot of his music, it's like reggaeton, Jamaican, like poppy vibes. But I dove deeper and I got the R&B, what he was talking about, like all over. That's my favorite
Mhm.
song. I fucking was blasting that like 10 times today. So he has like a lot of different views, a lot of different like styles. So you should definitely check him out. He's a great guy. He's definitely, like Jake said, definitely going places. So, we're excited. He's part of the Music Junkies family. As are all of you. We love you guys. Um, Always stay safe. And if you guys ever need anything, our DMs are always open.
Also, be sure to check out our merch. We got our store up online, and if you have any recommendations of some items or articles of clothing that you would like us to start doing, feel free to send us a message on that as well. Your voice needs to be heard. We can't hear them if you're not talking to us. So again, thank you guys so very much for tuning in to us. We love you all very much. Have an amazing rest of your weekend. See you next week.
Peace.